Hey friends, good morning. If you live in Minnesota, you know by the way that I'm dressed that I am not in Minnesota right now. Not in Minnesota going on a walk outside dressed like this. I would be going on a walk outside if I lived in Minnesota, just dressed very differently, it sounds. So I'm in Texas. I don't know the geography of Dallas well enough to actually tell you where I am compared to Dallas, but I am in what is called Addison. I think it's North Dallas. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm in Addison, Texas, walking down the side of the road. I have no idea where I'm walking to. I just walked out the front door and took a left. And I am heading into a session, one of 3 days. It's my first day of 3 sessions with eWomen Network's CEO and founder, Sandra Yancey, which is very exciting. And, ooh, that scared me. Although she's with eWomen Network, and many of you know about my role as the managing director for the Twin Cities chapter, this actually is not what that meeting is about, which is also very exciting because that means it's about my personal business. And I'm really looking forward to what we uncover together. I'm looking forward to what takes shape over the next 3 days. I've loved everything I've done for the last 15 years, the serving and supporting in various ways. I'm taking you on walks with me, sharing talks, workshops, retreats, yoga, online programs, writing books, all of the things that I've done over the last 15 years. And we are going to take that and create something really special and really beautiful, and I have no idea what to expect yet. And I think that for me is what's the most exciting about it. You know, I love travel. You know, I love adventure. You know, I love going on walks. But the travel, the adventure, the curiosity, I am a forever student, and part of my I believe part of my biggest work as a forever student and someone willing to show up vulnerably, openly, candidly, and share is that I will always be a teacher in some capacity as well, and forever a student. Because if I'm going to continue teaching and sharing in some capacity, then I also want to make sure that I continue learning and growing and embracing. And so why this is so exciting to me is I'm going on an adventure. We're going on an adventure the next 3 days to maybe uncover things. You know, some of the work that I've done for people is I help them see something that maybe they can't see because they're too close to it, right? That's what a good coach generally does that for people. He or she, the way that an easy way to describe it or an easy metaphor is seeing the forest through the trees or seeing the trees through the forest. Like if you're standing in the middle of something, right, and you have magic going on all around you, but you're standing in the middle of it, sometimes you can't see that. And sometimes we need another perspective to help us bring clarity to that. And that's what I've done for people. And I think that that's going to be part of what Sandra will do for me, is help bring some clarity to maybe some of the things that I can offer. Also, I think part of our time together is really about structure. So one of the things that we can use the word resisted. One of the things I've resisted for a long time is the idea of structure around a business, because to me, structure has always had this feeling of compaction, right? Of of tightening in rather than feeling expansive. And I would love to have my mind changed around that as well. And I'm already exploring it, right? So one of the things I read many, many years ago when I was starting to dig into this work was the moment that you can see the thing, you're no longer the thing anymore, which I love that because it lends itself to the possibility and the openness that we can change, which I firmly believe we can. We just have to be the first ones to be open to it, right? So I am totally open to seeing how, is it possible? And I know the answer. The answer is yes, it's possible. Is it possible that having more structure in my business actually gives me more freedom? Is it possible that having more structure in my business will actually bring me more peace? And that's part of what I think our time together will be as well. And you know what? This is all just a guess because I don't know yet. I'm not there with her yet. That will come in a couple hours. I just knew I needed to get out and take a walk first. So I want us to consider, like, what is something in your business or life, doesn't have to be business, but if you have a business, maybe consider business. I just walked through a pile of water and my feet are soaked. That's okay, that won't be the first time. So is there something in your business or your life that you've been resisting that maybe it's possible we can look at it from another lens? Is it possible? Just asking that question allows it to be like, I don't know if you can see me. So being stuck within it, right, feels tightening. It feels that contraction. But if we say, is it possible? Like, is it possible? That like opens up and it flips our hands up and it allows us to consider. It doesn't mean it has to be true. If you want to stay convinced, like if I wanted to stay convinced that structure is a bad thing for me and my business, even though there are a ton of examples to prove otherwise, potentially, I could stay stuck. And one of the ways I stay stuck is just continue to resist that conversation, right? And I'm also willing to change. I'm also willing to grow. I just got done saying I'm willing to be a student. I'm willing to learn. And so for me, just asking the question about possibility allows my brain, and it would do the same for you, right? Is it possible you can see this thing you're resisting through another lens? Just possible. It doesn't have to be probable. It doesn't have to be 51%. It doesn't have to be 75%, but can you give it 10% of curiosity? Can you start with 10% curious and just see? Kay says, I needed to hear this today. I need this in my life and business. I love it. I love it. I love it, Kay. So just wondering, like, is it possible that I can view structure a different way? Because to me, the word structure has always been a tightening. It's been a hold. The word structure in my brain, and this isn't even necessarily what it means, like what the actual definition is, which actually I should look it up. But structure has felt constricting. It has felt like it will take my freedom away. It has felt like, well, if there's structure in my business, then I wouldn't have been able to walk the Camino. And I'm starting to be open and be curious around, well, if there's structure, maybe it makes that easier. If there's structure in my business, maybe that just means that I can still get paid on passive income. Is it possible that I could do those things and have a business that is thriving, right? So that's part of the curiosity in my brain right now is I love when someone else, and Sandra also, so Sandra also very much believes in the power of working with other people. And if you're an eWomen Network member and have been on any of the Plus calls or even at conference, She's talked about a mastermind group that she has paid to be a part of. And when you dive in and pay to be a part of something like that, you're not, maybe it's not across the board, maybe that's a blanket statement, but what I was going to say is you are participating, like I'm paying for access to knowledge that I don't currently have, that doesn't currently reside within me. And that's what she did with her mastermind. And so she is paying for access and knowledge, and the way that she says it is she'll write a check for speed, which I love that. And what she means by that, or the way that I would interpret it for you, is I spent 15 years creating a business that doesn't have structure, that has been a little willy-nilly. Have I loved it? Absolutely. There are pieces and aspects that I've loved so much about it. And also now I'm ready to have a business that is really impactful and meaningful and supportive and doing more. And so having access to someone who is going to help me get there faster. That's what I mean. Pay a check or write a check for speed, right? Access to someone who's going to help you get there faster, which I think is really fascinating. Is that always necessary? Probably not. I'm going to turn around because that's very loud down there. This is what happens when we just start walking. I don't know where we're going to end up. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to talk about with you, and then somehow it's always perfect, which I love. And not somehow, I think that's just the great divine universe showing up in alignment, and me showing up, as I was saying earlier, with the willingness and heart to be a student and continue to take that and teach and share and bring it forward. So as I'm noodling on something like the word structure, and is it possible that I can look at that and view that in another light, I'll bring that to you and see, is that a word you need to noodle on? Or is there something else that has been keeping you stuck, allowing you to stay small, an excuse that we keep using again and again, that on the outside, like we've all used excuses, right? On the outside, excuses are super common, and some of them seem very, very real and legitimate, and not an excuse, but an actual reason why something didn't work. And yet I just wonder if it's possible. So there's that word. Is it possible that I have been using XYZ as an excuse to not be further along in fill in the blank, life, business, a goal, an intention, something I've wanted to achieve? Is it possible? Right? And again, going back to that word possible, just allows our hands to open gently, to be curious. And when we're curious and when we're leaning in, that's when the gifts and the awareness and the answers and everything we need starts to fall into place, because we're allowing ourselves the curiosity combined with a little bit of grace, which I think is incredibly important. Don't we all need a little bit of grace? And probably it needs to start with giving it to ourselves, right? How can I, we're just going to go on a tangent here, I guess. We'll just go in whatever way we're feeling called. So let's talk about grace for a minute. How can I expect anyone else to give me a little bit of grace if I'm not willing to give it to myself? And yet, I think especially right now, we get so hung up on how someone is or isn't being, what they're like. We know that there's some division going on. And also, there are many places, I have many conversations with people that maybe we disagree on some things. And you know what? we can still be friends. I don't have to agree with everything that everyone says, but what I do need to do is give them a little grace. And you know what? Because I've been practicing for a long time, giving myself a little extra grace first, it's so much easier to give that to other people. Because when we recognize we really are, like, it's that great quote, right? We really are just here to walk each other home, right? We're really here to connect and co-create and bring meaning to each other's lives, I believe, and build relationships and learn from one another and love each other through the things. Love each other even though maybe we don't agree all the time, right? Like, we can still love each other. We can still offer some grace. And when I start with myself on grace, it's easier, I think, to then start seeing where maybe I can bring that into other places. I really don't think it's fair, though, to expect grace from someone else if we're not even willing to give it to ourselves. So that is one thought. I'd love to hear what do you think about that? How does that sound to you? No one is coming. I'm going to cross this. Well, now there's a bright green light and still no one is coming. Okay, here we go. What else would you like to chat about this Tuesday morning, on a Tuesday morning sidewalk walk? So I'm excited to see what the next 3 days bring. I'm excited to bring home fresh ideas. Make no mistake about it, there's going to be a before Jen, and you're witnessing the before Jen, and there will be an after Jen. And I'll make sure I come on and share the after Jen with you, so you get a sneak peek of what that's like. So, hello from Dallas, Addison, outside of Dallas, and I hope you have a remarkable day. I'll talk to you soon. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, feedback. And I'd love to hear the thing. What's the thing that you're going to just open your hands to and be curious about? Is it possible I can see this through a different lens? Is it possible? And the answer is yes, by the way. Because there's someone else doing it, right? So back to my example of structure. There are so many people running great businesses that have structure in place that it works. So is it possible I can view structure from another perspective? Yes, it's possible, and I'm curious. So we'll see what else comes out of this. I hope you have a fabulous day wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.